Do you know anyone who's been sexually assaulted?
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 When I walk, obviously I'm not going to walk through the woods on a Friday night at like 9 o'clock when it's dark, because that's a terrible, terrible idea.
There's always at least one person like be like, hey, there's this really old white guy that keeps staring at us in the corner. Let's move out, or let's go somewhere with like a police officer nearby, or like a crowd of people. Like, we don't go anywhere where it's like empty. We would never do that. Things like that you feel like should be okay for you to do, but like obviously aren't.
I was walking. You have to go through a certain area, like on a side street, to get to like the main sidewalk that I walked to get to school.
I was at the dollar store in PG Plaza or whatever. No, not in PG Plaza. In whatever, Largo Town Center. About to get my hair done. My hair looked crusty and everything.
I was just like walking through the metro, and like this group of like 5 20-year-olds was like scream catcalling as they walked by.
So I was on the side street and they were like picking up trash. Or not, that sounds like they were doing like good deeds of garbage men. They were like taking the trash and stuff. They started whistling and like yelling stuff. I couldn't hear what they were saying because I had my earbuds in, but like still.
What you're hearing is a conversation between a group of friends of mine. We're all teenagers. The National Center for Victims of Crime say that 1 in every 5 girls and 1 in every 20 boys have been victims of childhood sexual assault. But even if you haven't been sexually assaulted, it still affects your day-to-day life. Whether the fear affects how you dress when you go outside or being catcalled. I decided to sit down with my friends and listen to their stories. Here are some of their thoughts and stories on sexual assault.
I was with like 2 of my friends, so it was just a group of 3. Like, at the time we were all in like 8th grade, so 8th graders versus like 20-year-olds. So we didn't exactly like show that we were afraid or anything, obviously, because like if we did that it'd be even worse. But like we like hightailed it to the metro.
It's like, oh, how's your day? Blah, blah, blah. You know, trying to make, I guess, a little mini conversation, whatever. And then he was like, oh, cool. Can I get your number? And he was like, you know, you look real good, mommy. And then one of his friends was beside him, you know, staring me up and down. And like, he kind of like, I don't know what his issue was. Because it was him, and I guess I don't know, there was this girl with him, and like they were creeping towards me slowly, and I don't know, I left the store. It was just, that was some weird shit. I wasn't eating.
When you're a teenager, you don't know how to deal with a lot of things, and also you're worried that like if, like, say for example, if you did face it, you'd be more worried about like social stigma and peer pressure and all of that like stuff that normal teenagers go through.
So I was walking, and it was on Friday, and it was trash day.
The fear of it definitely affects my actions and like how I like conduct myself in different places.
These grown-ass men started whistling and honking their horns. I'm like, you perverts. Just freaking gross.
Definitely affects how I dress sometimes, whatever. Because, you know, I would never dress like this if I was out riding the metro in DC or some type of stuff. But, you know, that's why I got my jacket on. You know, I try to do a little something, cover it up sometimes.
There's nothing that you can do in that moment. You can't, like, do anything, and you're alone, so you don't know. You know, like if you were to flip them off, they respond not in a great way. You could be in danger. So I kind of just had to take it and keep walking. And it was like, ew.
This guy I had seen before but didn't know. I had just seen before. I just knew he hung around seniors. That's what all I could remember for like the one time that I've seen him. But I'm walking down the hallway. It's during class, right? Because I was going downstairs to the main office, and he's walking like maybe like 20-30 feet away from me, and I'm turned around, but he yells, "Nice strut, miss," and then he like says, "Looking good today." I yelled back, "Thanks," because he was the chill person, and he was like obviously waiting for a response. And like at the time, you know, it doesn't feel uncomfortable, but I realized that if he had been 1 year older, I would have been like running down the hallway.
You know, you gotta bend over for the water fountain, right? And then this boy came on me. He was like, "Damn, Mom, I'm trying to get in the sheets." I was real confused because, I mean, there were other girls around me. He was staring at me, and it was like low-key, well, high-key uncomfortable because I was just like, what the fuck is this? And then, you know, because there were other people around, I was just like, okay, whatever. So I walked away.
Some situations, what they say is not like catcalling is obviously sexual, but like sometimes what they say isn't obviously like misogynistic or sexist.
Another time, I was in the Giant. My mom had went to go get something. I was being rung up again. This guy.
There's always at least one person. I know this really old white guy that keeps staring at us in the corner. Let's move out, or let's go somewhere where like there's like a police officer nearby, or a crowd of people. Like we don't go anywhere where it's like empty. We would never do that.
Oh, do you need help? It was on a little bit of stuff. He was like, oh, you need something or whatever. He was like, do you need to be, I don't know, do you need taken care of? And, I could get you or whatever. I'm just like, no, I'm good. No, thank you, whatever. So that was, both situations were low-key scary.
In those situations, it's kind of like telling them to other people. When you say it back, it sounds as if there was nothing wrong to the situation. For example, in Caitlin's situation, someone was just asking to help her out in the way that it sounds. But really, for her, in the moment, uncomfortable and terrible. It's been such a, ignored problem for so long now, especially with the rape culture. I'm just really glad that, women are starting to feel more comfortable with sharing their experiences.
This has been Paulette Maher from New Radio, signing off.